Hey you guys, welcome back to True Talk. It worked this time.
This time. Hey, now you jinxed it.
I'm taking it. I'm gonna take this as a win, and we're gonna
You
run
jinxed
with
it. You jinxed it.
Or it's positive, and it means we're gonna have an amazing show. You gotta look at it on the positive side, Mallet. Come on, killing me.
This is me you're talking to.
You're killing me. All right.
Yes.
What's up,
yes,
guys?
I am.
Welcome back to True Talk. My name's Mr. Pure Instinct. As always, we are joined by Mallet Editor.
Hi, guys.
And we have a lovely true affiliate, the British Avenger. What's up, guys? How are both of you?
Boy.
Alright.
Good. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so it started up the first time, which is awesome. And we're going to kick everything off. Mallet, do you want to give us our topics for the night?
Oh, absolutely. A U.S. senator has introduced a bill to ban loot boxes. Why you should care. The CEO of Gearbox punched somebody in the face and then threw a giant temper tantrum about it. How to teach your children to behave better than a grown man. Riot employees have walked out in order to protest how the company handles lawsuits. Why they're right. And the Detective Pikachu YouTube leak. Gotty. All right. So we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. It's going to be fun.
Yep, but as always, before we get started, guys, the most important thing is that we get to know our true affiliate, who again is the British Avenger. So to start things off, can you give us a brief overview of who you are as a streamer, what your channel is all about, and just kind of how you got started on Twitch?
Well, as most people know me, I only play Siege pretty much, and that's pretty much like what my channel is I only stream Siege. But like I try to do some different games, but as Ubisoft keeps bringing me back to the Siege grind.
Okay, nothing wrong with that at all. If that's the game of your choice, that's the game of your choice. So what's the story behind the username then?
It's a somewhat interesting. So the Avenger part of my name was way back, like PS4 days, because I was part of a squad and I had to create like a somewhat like squad account, I guess you could say. And how I got Avenger was like I was always like having my teammates back and always like refragging my teammates' deaths. So I thought like name it Avenger, and I kind of stuck with that. But of course, Twitch, there's someone else that has Avenger. So I thought, well, what I'm going to do now, and I just thought I might as well just put British in front of it. So like at least like if they want, I don't know, a UK version of like the Avenger streamer.
Okay.
Can you play
cool.
Overwatch with me? You can just kill all the people after I die, and then we'll be good.
If you play Overwatch with me and kill all the people after I die, all you'll do is kill the other team, because all I do in Overwatch is die. Sometimes I'll pull off 1 or 2 kills, and I'm just like, all right, this is a good day.
So you say you play a lot of Siege.
Yeah.
Why do you enjoy it so much?
Well, sometimes I don't enjoy it, but I think it's just me being addicted to it because I've played it for like 2 years, and I think I pretty much have like nearly 3,000 hours on it, and it's just addicting. I can't play any sort of other game.
Okay, that makes sense. I kind of feel that. I did that with Halo for a long time. Like, all I played was the Halo franchise for years and years, and then I was kind of like, I should branch out to something new, and I've kind of branched out a lot over that time, but that's pretty much how I was too. All I would play was Halo, and it was always like multiplayer. Like, I would run through the campaign on the easiest difficulty to get the story, and then go back and just play multiplayer for thousands of hours. Okay, so the last question that we always have is, what keeps you motivated streaming on Twitch, and what do you love about Twitch so much?
I guess what really motivates me is just the community in general, because it's like just generally the true community is just amazing. Like, just interactions with them is just brilliant. I've met so many decent people in the true community.
Yeah, I think we can all kind of agree with that. That the true community is a pretty solid place to be with lots of fantastic people.
Like me! No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I see a cat.
That cat got super ballsy. That's not where you jump. How dare you?
Did he just jump off the...
It's a dresser where they're
Yeah,
not supposed to be.
Cats, man. And see, this is one of those tangents I was talking about.
Tangents? Us on a tangent? Never.
What?
Never on a tangent.
Me? Go on a tangent? When would I ever
Not now.
do anything
Not ever.
except our perfectly scheduled topics?
How dare you lie to our fans? All right,
We
guys.
warned British Avenger ahead of time that we tend to go off on
Tangents
completely
after
random.
tangent.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I'm getting booed now. I'm kind of hurt.
All right, guys. Before we get like really into the meat of the show, we also wanted to let you guys know that there's a True Talk Discord server now. So in the True channel or the True server, we have a True Talk channel, but it kind of gets bogged down with mostly people wanting to be on the show, which is fine. I like that we can use it for that. But we have started our own server separately from that one where people can suggest topics for us to talk about if you come across a cool news article for Twitch or gaming or anything like that throughout the week. If you want to discuss what we talked about, maybe you missed the episode live and had to catch it on your podcasting platform or YouTube and you want to have a discussion about it, you can join us there. Or if you just want to hang out and talk to other people who like the True Talk podcast, you can hang out there. So that is live now. You can go to the link there. Give it some time. Right now, I know for a fact that we only have one mod in there because I'm waiting for the rest of them to get in there so that we can give them permissions. So for now, when you get there, you can't do anything until you've been given a role. So when you get there, you may not see anything until our mod gives you permissions. So.
Am I a mod? Am I special? I want to be special.
You and I are both there. But since we're in the middle of the show, I figured we weren't going to be doing it.
No. I'm special. Yay.
So yeah, if you guys want to join us there, feel free to. Like I said, we can discuss anything we want from previous episodes if you want to follow up on something. Or maybe if there's a follow-up in something we talk about as far as like news breaking, we can post it there to kind of follow up and keep as up-to-date as we can with everything. Yeah. So with that being said, guys, let's dive into the rest of the topics tonight. I think first, this is probably going to be the quicker conversation, so we'll talk about it. The CEO of Gearbox, Randy Pitchford, for those of you guys who don't know, has had a heck of a week, to put it gently. So when Borderlands 3 was announced, there was a moment where he misspoke on stage and said there will not be microtransactions. Turns out, there will be microtransactions, possibly, but they're only going to be for cosmetics, so they won't be anything game-changing. But Game Informer wrote an article about this and said, hey, this is what's actually going to be happening, basically. And instead of saying, I'm sorry I misspoke, or, hey, just a heads up, this is what I really mean, can we fix the article? He kind of just blew up on them and went on a tirade on Twitter, just shouting at this editor, basically. And at one point, the direct quote of a tweet was, I can't believe you would F me like this. And that was kind of gives you an idea of how the temper tantrum went. So a few days later, the original voice actor of Claptrap, known as David Eddings, came out and explained why he will not be continuing work with Gearbox. Part of it is to do with, allegedly, we do not know what is or is not true, but allegedly Randy Pitchford assaulted him in a lobby of a hotel Gearbox knew about this almost immediately after it happened and has just now started to do something about it, from what he's said, since he's been publicly on Twitter about it. And there are issues with employees taking lower salaries in exchange for royalties of games. If you for some reason don't know what royalties are on games, it's the same similar as movies, music. When things are sold, played, streamed, anything like that, you get a small cut of those sales, basically, and they're not being paid those royalties. So, I guess let's unpack that a little bit. The big thing that I'm seeing out of all of this for the general public is a lot of people are wanting to skip Borderlands 3 because of all this stuff happening. And I'm not sure that that's the answer. Because it's one person. All the employees have still worked hard on this game. What are your thoughts on all of this? I know it's a lot of information to take in at once. But that's kind of like the whole backstory of it all.
After you, British Avenger, you're our guest.
I haven't played any Borderlands in the past, but I feel like it's a bit dumb to like skip like past the whole Borderlands just because of one person. Because like what, you have like a bunch of teams working on one game, then like what, that takes months or years to do, then they just completely skip it. It seems a bit, I don't know, rational to do it. Because like it's just with anything, with like you have if you stream for like, I don't know, for like a couple months and you put all that hard work and like, I don't know, you take a month off, then of course some of it is going down the drain. So it's like just like the kind of the same. It's like you work that hard, then it's just going nowhere. I think it's just out of control if they're going to skip it.
No, you definitely got a good point. I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
People have learned that the best way to make change is by talking with their wallets. If all of these allegations are true, and I say if, we don't know police investigation or anything has come out saying so, then it sounds to me like the CEO of a major gaming company is being allowed by his company and by his shareholders to go around doing whatever he wants without visible consequences. And more importantly, it again allegedly appears that a company is screwing over their workers. So the best way as a consumer to show my disapproval with that would be to say, okay, I'm not going to buy anything from your company. Now, again, you could probably go devil's argument with that and say, like, you know, well, you're just hurting the smaller employees. It's not going to hurt the CEO. Maybe. But unfortunately, the money talks in our society. And if enough people come out and say, hey, I am not buying this game because your CEO is a piece of trash, that might be enough to motivate the board of directors or whoever's above the CEO to take action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we come across things like that in the gaming community a lot of I'm going to vote with my wallet. And I think a lot of people say that they're going to on Twitter or Facebook and social media, and then they end up buying it anyway. And it's happened with a lot of video games. I mean, it happens all the time when there's a pre-order thing. Don't pre-order games. Don't buy games on the first day. And then
don't play EA.
Yeah, and it'll go to, I'm not playing an EA game. Oh, wait.
Apex.
The new Battlefront game's coming out. I like Star Wars. I'm buying that. Well, you just threw a hissy fit and said you would never buy anything from EA again. Same thing with Ubisoft. A lot of people say they will not buy Ubisoft games. And then the new Assassin's Creed game comes out, and they buy Assassin's Creed. I agree with you. In situations like that, when you're dealing with companies, really voting with your wallet is the best way to go. And that's showing that company that you mean business, basically. And it can be, you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been into the Borderlands franchise at this point. You know, the games have been out for, I think, like 10 years, maybe, something like that. And, you know, if you've played since day one of the first game all the way through the second one, the pre-sequel and things like that, you've been waiting for this game. And then it's going to come out, and you're probably going to buy it. But if you have those diehard fans flat out say no, it's kind of a bigger deal. But it's hard to say because the Twitter tirade, you can see it. It happened. You cannot deny that it happened. It was there. Everyone read it, and it has become a meme in a couple of like Game Informer related Facebook groups, and they just make memes of him now. But with everything that, as far as the physical assault, I'm not saying it did or didn't happen. We don't have proof of it. But it's hard to separate everything that's happened in the past and what's happening now. Because he's been in trouble with other things in the past. Of course, I don't remember them all off the top of my head because it's been a little while. But there's been other things in the past with Randy. So
Randy Pitchford. No, it's Pitchford. Not I don't know. It all sounds the same. Pitchford. Let's see. Okay, let's see what his Wikipedia page says. Through all of
this stuff now, but I'm more interested in Gearbox apparently knowing about this for a long time, and it just now coming to light. I think it's been like 2 years since this all happened, and it's just now coming to light. Why hasn't more happened already? Because it's a big company. If it was 2017, at that time the internet was not that much different than it is now. Everything comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to look bad on you if you did nothing about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know the ins and outs of a company because I don't run a company, but it feels to me like this needs to be the time where they need to look at him and say, you can step down or we can force you to step down.
Yeah, I was just
a terrible look for Gearbox.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was just I just Googled the guy's name, and I've already, he has a history of being loose-lipped on Twitter. I found another recent article saying he tweeted out Troy Baker, who's a pretty famous voice actor, said, Troy Baker turned down the chance to Borderlands 3. Troy Baker comes back and says, no, I never said that. You need to watch what you're tweeting.
Yeah.
So clearly he's got a habit of flying off the cuff on Twitter.
Yeah. And I mean, Twitter is Twitter. Most people are over dramatic on Twitter at this point, it seems like. But when you're the CEO of a company, maybe read the tweet a second time before you hit tweet.
Possibly.
Yeah. So I found the other articles and other things that I can remember happening within the recent time. This was in January of this year. Lawsuit alleges Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford improperly siphoned $12 million for personal gain. I don't remember how that all played out in the end.
But the fact that he was accused of it in the first place is not a good look.
Yeah. And I'm sure Mark knows in chat what happened with that because he always knows faster than I do. And yeah, a fight with IGN apparently. At some point you kind of have to look at him and go, look, dude, I know you're the CEO, but you gotta stop it. You're hurting everyone at this point. If you want to look like an idiot on Twitter, that's your own prerogative. But you need to not be here anymore. You need to go over there and we need to go over here. Again, people are talking about not buying your game, and that's not good.
Yeah, but they're going to buy it anyway. You're right, British Avenger. People who genuinely have been sticking with this franchise, they're going to buy it anyway.
Yeah, and go ahead, British Avenger.
It doesn't matter what people do. It's like it's the game, so like people are gonna get like flashes of like new anything, and they're just gonna get drawn in. It doesn't matter whatever they say on the internet. It's never sticks. It's like the same thing. Like, oh, I say I'm never gonna play that game. I will, because I don't stick to it. It's like with every person in the gaming community, they're gonna buy it no matter what, unless they really, really hate it beyond like anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're gonna buy it no matter what.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I say screw you, EA, all the time. Own Battlefield 5. I have, of course, I didn't pay for either of those, but I still have them and I play them, and so
Yeah.
even though I yell about screw you, I mean, come on, I make jokes about screw you, EA, on every podcast practically, don't I?
I mean, who doesn't really at least feel that way a little bit at this point? Let's be honest. I think we all do, at least like a little.
Just a tad.
Okay. So, do you guys have anything else on Gearbox, Borderlands, everything like that?
Not really.
I will add in my one thing, and this will be our weekly discussion on the Epic Game Store. I think that alone is going to keep more PC gamers from buying it than anything else. Because we've actually seen that happening with games. People actually haven't bought it because it's on the Epic launcher, and that's going to be the thing that's going to keep them away from it more than all of these things that have happened with the CEO. If you like the Epic launcher, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. But at this point, it gets mentioned almost once a week, and that's our once a week, everybody. Okay, so while we're talking about negative things in video game companies, let's just continue to do that, and then we'll move on to something different. So this week, Riot Games employees, if you guys don't know Riot Games, they're the creator of League of Legends. So they are a pretty big company at this point. Their employees staged a walkout. This walkout was over a company policy that prevented employees from suing them in sexual harassment and sexual assault lawsuits. They made it worse, somehow made it worse, when they changed the rule to be opt-in for new employees and not opt-in for old employees. So if you're a current employee, you had to abide by the old rules where you could not sue them. You could only take them to arbitration, which is not court. But if you were a new employee, you could opt out of that. So the employees basically finally said, I'm fed up with this. That's some bull, and walked out. So let's unpack that first, because I have a little bit of a tangent that this leads into from things that have been happening on Twitter. I'll let you guys say whatever you want about all of that.
Oh, I have lots to say, so you guys should probably...
Well, when I read the article, I just like thought, whoa, yikes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said whenever I was reading about it happening, because I was reading like the Twitter threads to this leading up to it, where somebody said, hey, this is going to be happening. And people are basically saying, we're going to do it, it's going to happen, and I was interested in it, and then I kept reading more and seeing why it was going to happen, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? You're gonna what? This does... What? Just... yeah. So, British Avenger, I completely understand why you're just kind of like, this is a big yikes, because it is a big yikes.
Okay. Soapbox time.
All right, everyone. Mallet Soapbox. Please step up.
Oh, yes, I've got plenty to say about this. There have been far too many stories of sexual harassment and sexual assault in the workplace. Far too many. And women, until it's very difficult, women, men, whoever's a victim, it's been very difficult for people to step up and talk about it, or get the people who hurt them and did them harm to the courts in the first place. The fact that Riot is going out of their way to remove the courts from the system, what's happening behind the scenes here? Like that, I mean, it's bad, but like that makes me suspicious of the C-suite. That makes me suspicious of the HR department. That makes me suspicious of everybody who thought that that was okay. Of course, their reasoning is probably like, oh, we just don't want the company name dragged through the mud after some other companies have been dragged through the mud because of crap like this. Mm-hmm. But to me, I look at that, just me, Mallet editor on the internet, and I look at that and I say, what are you trying to hide here? What's so big that you don't want a judge and a jury looking at? Mm-hmm. Like, who are you trying to protect? That's my big question right here. Just from the one, like, who are you trying to save? Who are you trying to protect from getting dragged through the mud on the internet? Who are you trying to protect from being dragged through the court of law? Because it's hard enough to get somebody on that stand in the first place without you having to sacrifice your livelihood to do it. The fact, yes, binding arbitration can be binding, but that doesn't stop the harasser from working at Riot. That won't stop many things. That doesn't put the offender in jail. That doesn't set up a restraining order. That doesn't give the victim any of the protections that a court can. So I am all for the employees who walked out. I think this policy is at best misguided, and at worst, indicting of a company who might have something to hide. Okay, soapbox down.
I mean, I completely agree with everything you said. Like, I just don't understand how this makes sense. Again, let's go back to, it's 2019. The internet is the internet. These things are gonna...
You make games for the internet. You make League of Legends. You make what is known as one of the most toxic games on the internet.
Yeah. Well, that's not a surprise either.
Like most lists I see, it is the most toxic game on the internet. Not like one of the, it is usually above Overwatch, it's above it's above Call of Duty, it's above CSGO, it's above lots of stuff that we all know is toxic. Mm-hmm.
And it not even just, we can look at this in the smaller side of, this was their rule, whether things have happened or not. This rule is going to show up and it's bad. And it's going to look bad. But if your goal here was to keep Riot's name from being dragged through the mud, through a court system, through a judge and jury, through someone being convicted, anything like that,
through the court of public opinion,
it's still, when something does happen, it's still likely going to be on the internet, and that's going to look way worse than saying, we do not condone what that individual did, and we are behind our employee, and we will make sure that that person who did this is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Instead, they have said, I just don't want anything to do with it. This sounds hard and scary, and you're going to make me sound mean. I mean, that's what it sounds like. But I am glad that the employees stand beside each other and against these higher-ups who have made these rules and clearly don't care about them as people and see them as expendable, and have walked out together. I'm glad it wasn't, a small group of people who decided to do this. Because if 10, 20 people did it, it wouldn't make a very big impact, and I bet Riot could probably get away with firing that group of people. But if everyone does it, you're not going to fire the whole company.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings to another topic of gaming industry talk lately. And this has been coming from a lot of developers, a lot of people who work on smaller all the way up to large games like League of Legends and Mortal Kombat, of game people, like game developers, anyone who works in the game industry, unionizing.
Mm-hmm.
And the more and more that I see of these things, the more and more it makes a lot of sense. We can take sides on unions good, unions bad. I've worked for companies where I was in a union. I've worked for companies where I wasn't in a union. And it takes people who start it and work for the union to give a damn and actually do something, not just to say, well, we're in a union, you can't touch us. Well, you need to do something about it. Because what I ran into personally when I was in one was they talked big but wouldn't do anything. So I think if that's what happens, they're going to have to very much back themselves up. There's going to be a big shift in probably how people are going to feel in these environments for a little while. But overall, I feel like at this point, it's the right thing to do. Too many people are going through too much, getting screwed over way too often by these companies to not do something.
Cool beans.
So that's my thoughts on that side of it. What do you guys think? Do you have anything else to touch on here? Do you feel like we've touched on everything for the Riot walkout?
My soapbox has been put away.
Now it's like I am done yelling now. Okay. So go ahead, British Avenger.
My opinion on it is like I find it really stupid because like if it was like only one person, why don't they just help the victim out? Because it's only one person, it can like just easily just like fire the person and just easily even get a better employee. But it's like I think in an article it said somewhere like one of the employees said like to one of like the devs or whatever, like they said, oh, we take this under. It's like, and they did nothing. And that's the exact same thing like with gaming communities and the games. Like the gaming communities say, oh, can you like fix this or that? And they don't. It's just the company doesn't want to do it. They're hiding something. They just want money. That's it. They don't care at all about anything. That's it.
You got a good point. You definitely have a good point there. And Mark in chat has a good point too. If you fire somebody for that, then you get sued for a wrongful termination lawsuit, and that's more money.
Wait,
and more legal stuff.
I feel like we might be on a different page there. Do you mean if one person walked out and we fired that person? Because I feel like if you fire someone for sexually harassing someone at work, you have pretty good grounds to fire the shit out of them.
Doesn't stop you from suing.
You can try.
Yeah, sure you can, and that still means
also, it
time
depends
and
where
money
you
for
live.
the company. Legal.
Depends where you live too, because a lot of places are an at-will state. Like where I live, if I work for a company, I can just get fired, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, but that still doesn't stop you from suing. That's the big thing. Unless your contract specifically says you can't sue, and lots of companies don't, nothing can stop you from suing somebody else.
Well, I mean,
whether
yeah,
it can be frivolous and it can get thrown out, but you from suing. And what companies see when they hear a lawsuit is bad headlines and money. Doesn't matter how frivolous it is. Like, think about it. You know, everybody jokes about spilled her McDonald's coffee and sued McDonald's and got like a crap ton of money off of it.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like if I read an article or a tweet or anything else that was like, we fired this person because they were sexually harassing people, I'd go, okay, well, that person's wrong. They deserve to be fired. But I'm not worried. At that point, they don't need to be worried about their name being dragged through the mud or looking bad because I can't imagine that they were going to fire someone who didn't do that.
Mhm.
They're going to do their research, and they're going to find out what happened, and that person's going to get the shit fired out of them, and they're going to deserve it. And I don't feel like anyone on the internet would disagree.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be worried about my name being dragged through the mud at that point. I would just go, I'm sorry, they're a piece of garbage. I'm right. They can try to sue me all they want. I'm a $1 billion company. They don't have a job anymore. So sorry, buddy, but you're going to lose.
Yep.
But that's just my thought. I feel like at that point, it's just kind of like, bye.
Excuse me. I'm so tired.
But on to other legal matters.
Yay!
A U.S. senator has decided to introduce a bill that would ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions. Okay. So I don't feel like this is the best way to go about that. Because we've talked about it before.
We've talked about
whether
it a
it's
lot.
gambling or not is a little bit here or there. And the article specifically says in games designed for kids under 18. I can't think of that many games designed for a kid under 18 other than mobile games that have a lot of microtransactions.
The problem is his description is incredibly broad. It also includes games that could be played by minors. So Overwatch, Apex, Fortnite. There are a lot of major FPS games out there, even ones that aren't considered necessary, that we know in the community are not like pay to win. Like Overwatch and Fortnite, it's all skins.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's proposing, like, I'm actually all for the whole get rid of microtransactions, and I'm actually all for that. But what he's proposing is way too broad, and clearly shows me that he doesn't play video games very often. Because
Hold on.
What-
You're telling me somebody trying to make a law about something to do with technology doesn't understand the technology? I am shocked, for one.
oh my goodness!
How dare you.
Whatever shall I do? Where are my pearls? I need to go clutch them.
My stars.
Oh my goodness! Bless his heart. Bless his heart.
Bless his little heart.
For those of you who don't know, if a southerner ever says "bless your heart" to you, they are insulting
yeah,
you.
it's bad.
But anyway,
Okay,
but
now that
yeah,
that
so-
joke's out of the way.
I am southern. I'm allowed to make it. But so yeah, I'm actually all for getting rid of the mobile game transactions because it's stupid and I hate them. But what he's proposing is so broad; it covers any game with boxes
Mm-hmm.
that minors could play, which includes any of the battle royale games.
It would include literally any video game, because
Pretty
technically
much,
a
yeah.
minor can play anything if mom and
Yeah.
dad buy it for him.
Exactly. Like, even rated N games are for 17,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So even then, minors can play that.
Yeah.
So therein lies the issue.
Yeah, and yeah, that kind of rerun into the issue of, well, there's really very few games that are released that are designed and only available to people over 18. You know, mature rated video games are 17 and up. So,
And even then, like you said, it doesn't stop a parent
Well,
from
yeah,
buying.
even-
I
I
mean,
mean-
come on, how many 12-year-olds?
I was playing Halo 3 before I was 17. I played Halo, the original Halo, which came out in like 01. Like, I was,
Yeah,
you know, I was playing it when I was like 10 years
6.
old.
6.
Like I played it a little after it had been out, but obviously
And that-
a lot of people play these games before they're 17, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. It's a video game. To me, it's similar of watching an R-rated movie before you're 17. I'm not that worried about it. There are worse things in the grand scheme of things.
So, Avenger, does Siege have loot boxes?
Yeah. Well, it's alpha pack. So how alpha packs work in Siege is they're free, but they do have a alpha pack that are paid. But it's rare. It's event. It's like Overwatch. You have them like event Like
Mhm.
loot boxes, it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
where, of course, the normal artifact packs are not paid, it's in-game currency you grind with. So, like, it's only event sort of like you pay for, like, I guess, loot boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can I know you can grind them out in game, but you can use real world money to buy them, right?
No,
It's only in game
no.
currency.
It's only in-game currency for the normal alpha packs.
Okay.
Okay.
That's okay. That's not as bad.
Okay. So I found an article. I found like a different article about this topic on NBC. And what it says is, start quote, the protections will also apply to games with wider audience where the developers knowingly allow minors to play and engage in microtransactions. The bill will ban loot boxes with randomized or partially randomized rewards. It will also prohibit certain exploitative pay-to-win mechanics. For example, developers won't be able to manipulate the competitive balance of multiplayer titles to encourage players to buy microtransactions that give them an advantage. This is all EA's fault. Screw you, EA.
It comes
This is
back
all EA's
to it.
fault.
Yeah.
It's all your fault. I hate you.
And I think at this point, most games, if you say, well, if you buy this thing, you'll be better than this guy, that game already is kind of going to get a middle finger from a lot of people. They're already going to go, well, I'm not playing that because that's stupid. But if it's just cosmetics, a lot of people will look at that and go, I'm not worried about it. I just won't buy the loot boxes for the skin, so I'm fine with playing this game. Because we go back to Battlefront, EA, yes, of when they announced the game and you can buy Darth Vader or you can play it for 9,000 hours or whatever ridiculous amount of time it was, that game, that was going to be the game where people voted with their wallet, I think. That was going to be the time where they said,
And the
fine,
Reddit downvotes.
we're not doing it. And they went back and said, okay, you can just unlock it, but we're going to still have them for cosmetics.
It's like, there's like, I think there's probably 2 or 3 Call of Duties where there's like different like tiers of like of a weapon,
Mm-hmm.
and of course the higher it is, it's the better, and I just don't understand that. Like, you're a like first person shooter, you have a pro league or a competitive thing, and I understand they didn't use those like tier like you buy with like real money, but like why would you have it in the game anyways if you're not going to use it for the pro league? It's dumb. And I understand from the company side they need to make money, but from, of course, the community side, it's pointless. Like, just so I can just spend like maybe 100 or 50 just so I can just win games, it's beyond stupid. And the one thing I really hate, he says under like 13 kids games, like, do you even know gaming entirely? Because like pretty much every game nowadays is pretty much 18, and like if you have something like, I guess, Fortnite, and you have a lot of kids playing that and you're still having them gamble with like the loot boxes, it doesn't change anything whatsoever, besides maybe, I don't know, games like FIFA that are like way down that age.
Yeah, and those are some of
it's
the worst
stupid.
ones with microtransactions. Is FIFA and whatever the NBA game is now. Those are bad. You're like
NBA 2K.
You're like buying the roster from trading card packs, basically. Those are terrible.
I have a few thoughts about all this. I mean,
Yeah.
thing one is something that I know we mentioned before. Like, I actually do think this guy has a point.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Thing one is something that I know I've mentioned a lot of times. Parents parent your kids. Pay attention to what they're doing. Make sure your credit card necessarily, make sure your credit card isn't connected to things to where your kid can get it easily. But, if a kid really wants something, they're going to figure out how to do it. Like, my first thought while we were talking about this, well, why not just have the game developing companies put like parental controls in games to where they can cut off the microtransactions? But then I thought about it and it's like, kids are so tech savvy these days. Somebody's going to find a way around it.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. So, okay, so maybe that wouldn't work. Like, I actually do think this guy has a point because, like, even in a game like Fortnite where everything is purely cosmetic, I mean, how many kids swipe, like, are begging their parents or swiping their parents' credit cards
Mm-hmm.
to get this skin because they want to be cool like their friends?
Yeah. Or
So,
how many of those kids are doing the same thing and then going on to Ninja Stream and tipping $50 and saying, "I got the same skin as you, bro," because
yeah,
they don't understand.
exactly. So I do appreciate the fact that this guy is trying to do something. I think what it is right now, reading in the article, is too broad
Mm-hmm.
and needs to be looked at, and he probably needs to sit down and actually see what some of these games are about.
Or
But
he needs to bring someone on who knows about these things.
yeah, absolutely. So, and I mean, and I see what people are talking about in chat. Like, yeah, if it can be very difficult sometimes to get everything you need. And if that's something that's important to you, then yeah, you can pour a lot of money in there. Like take Dead by Daylight. MPI, you and I both play that a fair bit.
A little
You
bit.
can
Yeah.
actually get all the killers without having to spend a dime.
Yep.
It takes
the only ones I've bought are licensed.
yeah, but it takes forever.
Mm-hmm. It takes a long time.
It is so much grinding, and there have been times I don't want to wait. Like when the Plague came out. Well, actually, no, it was Legion. I bought Legion because it's just like I'd been grinding for so long, and I'd finally gotten enough to get the Legion, and then the Plague came out. So I had to pick one, and I picked the Plague because Legion's trash. But anyway,
yeah.
But I bought it. So it's like, and I'm almost 25 years old. So I guess that's probably going to be my final opinion is like, this guy has a point. It needs to be refined. It needs to be worked on. And I'm all for getting rid of actions in the whole game. Because there's nothing worse than like really getting into a game and then you get to the point where it's like, you really can't go any further unless you want to wait days.
Yeah.
And buy something.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that's kept me from getting into mobile games is, most of these mobile games are, build this city or whatever, and then it sits and you're like, okay, well, you can buy these coins for $1 to speed it up, or you can wait 2 days. Okay, well, I'm waiting 2 days because I'm not paying $1 for this because I don't care enough. And then I'll wait 2 days, and then I'll go, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, well, I guess I'll open it. And then it's like, well, now you have to wait 5 days. And then a month goes by, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I never opened that game again because I just stopped caring.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to pay for it. I think, I agree with you that I'm glad someone's trying to do something. But I think this person needs to look back on all of the other things that have tried to been passed with the internet, with technology. We look back at the whole Facebook debacle from, I think, last year where he was in front of the government and all of them basically asked him the dumbest questions humanly possible. And get people who know what they're talking about to weigh in on this. I'm not saying go ask your, local GameStop employee, but find someone who knows the law, but also understands technology beyond I turned on my iPhone today. And
Did they, though?
Have them help you with this. Really?
Did they turn on their iPhones?
Probably not. They probably struggled with it. But if that's something that you're this passionate about, get someone who knows what they're doing and work together to push forward. Not just go, it's my idea, I'm pushing it forward. Because you're going to run into this where it's too broad, or you're going to run into where it just doesn't work out and people find a way around it because it's a loophole, or there's a tiny thing that they could get away with, or anything. And what concerns me about this, and this is kind of looking at the pessimistic side, but I understand how companies work, and it's not great. They're going to go, okay, well, I can't sell you a $1 box anymore where you might get this t-shirt for your favorite character. Okay, well, that t-shirt's $10 now. You can just buy it for $10. Or we could have given you the chance to get it for $1, and then you would have saved $9, and people are going to go, I want my loot boxes back because it was cheaper. They're not going to look at it of, well, I was getting screwed over and probably spending $100 when I could have spent $10. But these companies are going to find a way to continue to microtransaction these really tiny, trivial things. You know what I mean? So it feels like it needs to be a step further. But I'm not a lawyer, so I can't help you make a law.
Don't be a politician. Running for office sucks.
I won't.
Take it from me. Don't be a politician.
Won't
Remember,
even
kids,
get
don't be a
started.
politician. Trust me, running for office sucks. It takes forever. You have to be on all the time. Everybody's staring at you. It sucks. Don't do it.
Did you just tell them not to be a streamer?
No, a politician.
Because that feels like the same thing.
No, it's not. Trust me. You have yet to have death threats off of a Facebook page until midnight.
Well,
I've had
I
to do
won't
that.
get started on my position on politicians or politics because, yeah. So I like the idea. This is a good plan, but it needs to be executed better, I think. Do you guys agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like with most games, like you have a team and like the whole concept of the game can be amazing, but the execution just fails.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm going to Siege again, but like that whole plan of Siege was like really great because it was like the new CS:GO. It was like there was chances of it like eventually taking over from it, but it's because Ubisoft, I think it was Ubisoft Montreal is the team, and they execution it poorly, so badly, and it's going downhill, and it needs something to, of course, bring it back. It's always about that execution on anything whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. No,
Yep.
you're absolutely right.
And
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
this is going to be something where, hopefully, since it's going to get press in the games world, that they're going to get feedback on it and can maybe build with that feedback that they're going to get from the people who play the games every day.
Mm-hmm.
But only time will tell, unfortunately.
It's the U.S. political system. We move slowly.
We'll probably never get an answer on this, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So, we have one more topic that's going to be like the tiniest topic, but it makes me really happy because I think it's adorable, and I want to end the show on a positive note. So, if you were to be someone who is trying to do something slightly shady and watch Detective Pikachu before it is available for you to see in theaters or on Blu-ray or your favorite on-demand service, and you were to type in to Google or YouTube, Detective Pikachu full movie leak, you would find a 2-hour Detective Pikachu film that Warner Brothers put out that Ryan Reynolds tweeted a link to. It's 2 hours of the Detective Pikachu dancing. It's 2 hours of him just dancing on the screen, being adorable. So if you have 2 hours to kill, you should watch it because it's pretty darn cute. But I like that someone at Warner Brothers sees that people search for this stuff all the time because a lot of people try to watch movies before they're out and able to be watched. And it's like just the best marketing plan ever. Of, first of all, people are going to look it up, so they're going to see it. And then someone's going to see it that works at a game site and go, this is funny, let's write about it. And then everyone's going to write about it. And now everybody's talking about Detective Pikachu again.
Well, they had to come up with something. Look who they're up against in the box office.
Yeah, maybe not the best release time, but also I feel like if you are going to see Detective Pikachu and you're worried about Endgame, you've already seen Endgame.
I'm gonna go see Endgame again.
Well,
But
some
when you're
people
too
will
busy,
go watch the same movie 4 times before going to watch a different movie.
Oh, I saw the original Avengers in theaters 3 times. But when it comes to Endgame, when you're too busy emoting in the back, whether laughing, crying, sneezing, whatever, you miss things. So I want to go back and watch it again when I'm not sneezing my brains out.
It's okay. Just hang out in a Twitch chat. Somebody will spoil it for you.
No, I banned those.
But yeah, there's, like I said, there's not a whole lot of news story behind it. I just thought it was funny, and I think it's adorable, and I love it. And if you guys want to check it out, it's just up on YouTube. You can look up Detective Pikachu full movie. So I think that pretty much does it for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you guys have any final thoughts on anything or anything that you want to include.
EA sucks.
We all knew that.
Yeah, I know, but I needed to make sure it was known. EA sucks. There we go.
I won't argue with you in the slightest about that. All right. So that's going to do it then, guys. British Avenger, thanks for coming on, man. I'm glad that we could have you. Thank you for staying up so late to join us. I know it's like 2 o'clock in the morning for you, probably 3 o'clock by now. So
like pretty much like 4 minutes to like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So guys, everyone go check out the British Avenger and thank him for staying up so late to join us, because I wouldn't have stayed up that late. I'd be like, well, I'm going to bed. Yeah, so British Avenger, where can everyone find you on Twitch, social media, and everything? And do you have anything coming up on your stream that you want to talk about?
Nothing coming up really. You can find me on Twitter at Avenger_Empire, which is the British Avenger, and any other social media is the British Avenger.
Okay, cool. So you said you stream Siege and only Siege.
Mainly.
So if you guys want a Siege player, that's your guy. All right, Mallet, what about you? Where can we find you? What do you got coming up? I know you got some stuff coming up, so tell me about it.
Sure do. It's Mallet Editor on pretty thing. Super cute, in my opinion, selfies of me. Mallet Editor on Instagram. If you want to talk, it's on Twitter. I'm on Twitch. All that jazz. Week from Sunday is my birthday!
Woo!
Yeah! I'm turning 25. We're having a big party stream. Followers get their name on a paper chain that I'm going to hang on my wall. Subscribers get their name on a balloon. It's only subscribers on the balloons this time, because last year all the followers got balloons and I couldn't bend my fingers for 3 days, and that was only 250 of you, give or take. This year there's more than 600 of y'all, and I wouldn't be able to move. I'm pretty sure I'd break my fingers off. No, but yeah, we're going to be playing lots of...
You'd look like the spirit. Your hands would be...
Yeah, I know, but I have more clothes on than she does.
That's fair.
So yeah, so we're gonna be playing some games. I've got party hats, I've got party horns, I've got party stuff. It's gonna be lots and lots of fun. I'm turning 25, so it's a big deal, in my opinion. So, and then I know I'm participating. I know MPI. I know you're participating. British Avenger. I think you're participating in the big True charity stream coming up on Memorial Day weekend. Am I right?
Shouldn't be.
I don't know. I don't know who's participating or not. But I know we've got the big True charity stream coming up at the end of the month, where we're raising money, I believe, for Stack Up is the name of the charity.
I think so. I'm not sure. I'd have to look.
Yeah, but it'll be fun. And Mark, I'm not spirit shaming. I'm just saying I wear more clothes than she does.
Stating a fact.
That's all there is to it. There's nothing to shame. I'm just stating the simple fact that right now I have more clothes on than the spirit does. So there. Besides, you know how long it takes to do full face paint? It takes forever.
All right, guys, and my name is Mr. Pure Instinct, or MPI. You can find me right here on Twitch, on my channel, because this is my channel. You can find me on social media under Mr. Pure Instinct, except for Facebook, it's Mr. Pure Instinct TV. And more importantly, you can find us here in the True Talk Discord server that is brand spanking new. So, guys, feel free to join there and hop in with us and submit any topics that you guys come across. If we don't talk about it, don't take it personally, please. We can't get to every topic, but I know if something gets submitted and it's not talked about, I don't want anyone's feelings to be hurt. We submit tons of topics to a private message every week, and not like probably less than half of those make the cut. So as a heads up, we may not talk about all of them. All of these episodes are always on YouTube and your favorite podcasting platform the following Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry. I'm in Central Standard Time, so I'm an hour behind, and I get confused a couple of times. So if you missed any of this episode or you want to catch up on some old episodes, just search True Talk on your favorite podcasting platform or go to the True Gaming YouTube channel. You can find it there. I think that's it, guys. Hop in the Discord. We'll be back next week with all new topics and another True Affiliate. Guys, again, Mallet, as always, thanks for joining me. And British Avenger, thanks for joining me and staying up so late. It's so kind of you to do that. You didn't have to do that. So it's really nice that you stayed up for us. But we're going to get out of here, guys. Make sure you check out both of their channels as well. And we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.